Those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. I'm Anthony Hartwig, joined by Ty Bartell. Ty, did you get a haircut? I don't know why.
I did. It was about time.
Woo!
It's been a busy morning, to say the least.
You
And
had to look good for your trip down to Canton.
yeah, another trip down to Canton. It seems like I'm going to be making that trip quite a few times this week. But hey, that means our teams are making it pretty far, and I'm all right with that.
Yeah, you're right. Without further ado, let's just talk about this game last night. Holy smokes, Mooney's defense just keeps setting them up, knocking them down. People were saying yesterday, Mooney's got to score 60 to win this game. And Mooney was like, hey, guess what? I don't even have to score 50. They win 47-41 over Campbell. They stifle Campbell's high-flying offense, hold them to the lowest score that they've had this season. And Mooney's defense, it's for real. And I don't think anyone can say otherwise now.
Yeah, and I mean, it was an impressive performance. Credit Ashton O'Brien hitting a huge three late that gave Mooney a late lead in the fourth quarter, and it was one they never looked back from. And that was really a huge shot and a huge moment for O'Brien to step up in, and he did so. Mick Hergenrother, of course, I mean, just the way he facilitates, moves the ball so quickly, stayed out of traps, and Campbell was trying to move different guys on him, but I mean, he's so quick off that first pass. Rocco Turner developing into just such a shot threat that, I mean, he needs to be inserted in this lineup all the time. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if Ashton O'Brien was the story of the kid that was playing JV earlier this season, and they had to bring him up to varsity because he was just dominating as a ball player. And I don't know if that was him or who it was on Mooney, but there's someone on Mooney, and I thought it might be him. And if that's the case, and it comes all the way full circle, and he's here, and O'Brien hits that three, that's huge.
Ashton O'Brien came up huge in the Springfield game too. He put on that cape, comes up big again. We're going to talk to Coach Palermo tomorrow at 1:40 about the win, and he said, "Hey guys, we're gonna talk on Friday," and he was right. Ty, what did this Mooney defense, what does it do? Obviously, this is two performances in a row where they've went up against really good offenses that they've been able to slow them down. What did it do so much differently than almost everybody on Campbell's schedule this year that really slowed down this Red Devil offense?
Two things I noticed out of the gate. They played both sides of the court as one cohesive unit 100% of the time, and they executed a perfect game plan against the Red Devils in that they really did not allow driving lanes for the Red Devils at all. And it was like man up, straight up. A lot of times they went for traps sometimes when they had to, but Mooney did a great job of creating turnovers, and they just did a great job too rebounding. They out-rebounded Campbell in the first half, I remember, and I think the entirety of the game, and they were rushing 3-4 guys into the box. And I mean, cohesive effort, great IQ by a lot of Mooney's players too, as everyone knows where they need to be, what they need to do, and how to execute. And a few times Coach Palermo too, and that Mooney offense was running these 1 1.5, 2-minute drills on the court, eating up a lot of time and really taking Camel out of their rhythm, which is high flying, run and gun, score quickly and score at will. Mooney slowed all that down and forced them into a half-court approach, and I think it really it forced Camel into a style of play they weren't really used to.
Sometimes at this level in the tournaments, the old school fundamental basketball beats the high flying, flashy basketball. And I think Mooney kind of proved that. They don't do anything flashy. They don't do anything amazingly, oh my gosh, highlight reel stuff. But they just D you up. They play good half court offense and they do enough to win. And that there's something to say about that. And I think everyone came into this matchup expecting it to be, Camel just putting up dunks and breakaway layups and everything like that. It didn't happen. And when that doesn't happen, can Camel play old school basketball? They struggled. But still, one of the highlights they put on their Twitter, I think it was Jameer Weaver, splits a double team, goes up and under for a really cool layup. And it's like if they could do that all night, then it'd be fine. But that's like asking someone to do that kind of finish all night is hard. You got to be a Division I Power 5 caliber player to consistently be able to split a double team off the dribble, go up against Rocco Turner and do a little up and under move to finish a layup. You can do it a couple times, but to do it consistently through the night, Mooney just said, "Hey, every shot you take is going to be tough," and you can attest to that. That's a tough finish, and props to I believe it was Jameer Weaver in that particular video clip for finishing that layup. But I mean, you're doing that consistently all night; it's just not feasible.
And you know what? Props to those 8 Camel seniors. I mean, highlight them all. Kevin and Kayvon Morris, Gavos Coro, Zach Luciano, Jacob Jackson, Christian James, Jameer Weaver, Xavier Leonard. All 8 of them did something unreal this season. MVAC champions outright. Most wins ever in a single season in Camel history. Kevin Moore got the 1,000-point club. A lot of history happened this season. And yeah, it's not the final outcome that you wanted, but you know what? It's still a heck of a season too. And Camel had a heck of a run this year, and there's one that's going to go down in the history books.
It's a heartbreaking loss because they all came together their senior year. Obviously, it was a small window, and they wanted to just make a run at it. And unfortunately for them, they couldn't finish. But like you said, they still did a lot for this Camel program. It's just something that they came together for 1 year to do something very, very, very special, and they were gunning for a state championship this year. They had the talent to do it, but maybe not the experience. I don't know. Maybe the experience played a factor. You were there. I don't know if you can attest to how much Mooney kind of kept composed compared to Camel being in the regional finals last year. I do know Camel was up by 4 at the end of 3, ended up losing by 6. So I think Mooney won the fourth quarter 18-8, if I'm not mistaken. So unable to finish.
Camel was actually, or Mooney, I should say, in this game was actually relentless. I think they were relentless in their game plan. They executed on offense. They didn't differ from that game plan. They stayed patient on their approach. As far as that's concerned, I don't know. I credit more Mooney's defense for slowing Kevin Moore down and paying extra attention to him. Because if you notice too, Mooney was going to take one of the big scorers out. Xavier Leonard still got loose for, I think, 15, 17 points. Like, Xavier Leonard still had a great game for Camel Memorial. It was just, you pick your poison on who to slow down. Mooney was paying extra attention to Kevin Moore. And, I mean, yeah, you want your big stars to score big points, but also he's not going to score with triple teams on him, too.
The crazy thing is, though, Ty, people have done that before. It's not a new game plan. Let's slow down Kevin Moore.
Yeah.
What else did Mooney do, though? Because obviously the secondary scorers
executed
enough.
They executed. I mean, that's the thing, is that Mooney might not have had the height, but they made up for it in speed. And that's the thing. Kevin Moore has a quick first step. So typically, even if you're double teaming him, if he gets that first step on 2 defenders, that's where he's able to split the defense a lot of times. Mooney has a lot of guys quick on their feet, and they didn't allow him to split those defensive lanes, and they stayed in front of him pretty well the whole night. And when you do that and you bring double, triple teams as well, no, even your most talented scorers aren't going to score through that pretty efficiently.
And Mooney did a great job, and they let 31 points in the district championship, 41 points here in the
2 of them to
semifinals.
1-loss teams too. Mooney beat 2 1-loss teams in a row on the season.
They took down the technically the 1 seed in their district, last night in Camel. They took down the 1 seed against Springfield. I'm sorry, Camel was the 2.
So they took down
Springfield
1
got the
and
1.
2 to get there
So-
as a 5 seed.
And now they will face the challenge of Lutheran East, who won 58-45 over Norwayne.
Also,
that game will be Saturday at the Memorial Fieldhouse.
the team that beat Mooney by 43 last season, too. So it's a team that Mooney has played all the way back. They've gotten a step further than they did last year. And that's one thing Coach Palermo was telling us last night is just want to make it further than we were last year. Just keep growing with this program. And they did. And now they get the rematch from a year ago.
They didn't pound Norwayne into the ground. I mean, it was a 13-point victory. It wasn't like 40 or 50
Norwayne
points. So.
was either up or down by only a possession, I think, at the half, I believe.
So I think Lutheran East maybe showed some chinks in their armor last night against Norwayne. I don't know. I've seen no film on Norwayne. I have no idea how good Norwayne is compared to Mooney or anything like that. But maybe some chinks in their armor last night, but they still got the win 58-45. And that's who Mooney will have to play. Ty, I'm going to let you read this comment because it's like a paragraph, and I would have to take a minute.
Mooney's defense was great, but I agree with Mike here. Kevin Moore was getting D1 looks, and for him to go and only score 2 is not great. He needed to attack way more at the basket. I mean, like I said, I think I credit more Mooney's just defense on that. They got the paint down.
This sentiment is like if you're getting Division I offers, you should be able to dominate anytime you want, which I don't really agree with.
Let's all concisively agree that one game does not define a career, or one game does not define the talent of any young man. People have bad games. It's allowed to happen.
I know. To the comments, just playing devil's advocate, I don't agree with this, but people will say coaches are going to look at the fact that it was the biggest game of his season and he didn't show up, yada, yada, yada. I think Mooney played really good defense. I think Kevin Moore is a great player. This doesn't take away from that. He has a lot to learn still about Division I basketball, and he'll still get Division I basketball offers. I have no problem seeing him playing Division I, but I think last night kind of proved that there is a learning curve still. There's still a lot for him to learn and to grow in the game of basketball, and being under a Division I coach, or any coach really, whether you play any coach in college, will help that kid grow and mold his talent even further. He's got the raw talent. He just needs a little bit more of the basketball IQ, that Division I level basketball IQ.
The only way to get experience is through experience. Right. And you know what? When he's on a college level floor somewhere, because even if it's not D1, I think he has the talent to play next level.
And don't forget, he played in regionals last year. It just wasn't for Cam. I believe Buckdale made the regional last year.
So I mean, he's been at this moment. He brought Camel that district title against Jefferson too. That second half, he exploded.
Buckdale was in the regional last year, I think.
You might be right. I'm not. I don't know exactly offhand.
Yeah, I think they were.
But yeah, I think he'll have a chance to answer all the critics in next level too, and he'll have a lot to learn. But I'm excited to see the growth that he can have, because he's already a phenomenal basketball player.
Now you just have to look at Camel's future, and obviously graduating 8 really good seniors. What are they going to have next year, and what that's going to look like.
Yeah, and I mean, it is going to be interesting. Deshaun Will being a freshman, Isaiah McRae being a freshman, both getting significant playing time this year. So you figure it's going to be kind of built around them. But from what I'm hearing, a lot in the JV, their JV team was looking really good. So Camel might be solid for their program for the next few years.
I think, unfortunately for Coach Canarino, who I think did an amazing job this year, in the offseason, a lot of the quote-unquote experts are going to be asking him, how do you do it without this special group that you brought in for 1 year? And that's what he's going to have to answer next year to a lot of these people that really he shouldn't have to answer to. And hopefully he doesn't listen to the noise, but it's going to be said a lot in the offseason.
I mean, and if you want to talk about someone for Coach of the Year too, Kerry Palermo now.
Oh my God.
Might have to be considered. Getting all the way back to this point and winning and getting a step further. I gotta figure this run alone with his team and this group in the postseason, credit the boys a lot for sure. but Kerry Palermo has something to do with it. And if you want to give Coach of the Year, I think he's a strong candidate.
I made the comment on on Power Hour yesterday. I commented on Power Hour. Coach Palermo has been out coaching people this whole tournament run. Like Jeff Brink is an amazing coach, and sometimes good coaches just out coach other good coaches. And I don't think it's anything bad to say about Jeff Brink to say he got out coached in that district the district championship game. Because in my opinion, I think he did, because you watched that game and Mooney did a bunch of stuff that it just didn't look like Springfield was either ready or prepared for them to do, which is it's coaching.
Phenomenal game plan that Mooney always changes up, and these boys have the ability to execute multiple styles too. So it makes them very versatile and very difficult to deal with.
All right, so that was our one basketball game last night. It was a great one. We'll talk a little bit more about it tomorrow when we have Coach Palermo on at 1:40. But we get to dive further into our spring sports previews, and we begin today spring sports previews, first of many, with Mariah Ciccolelli of the Jackson Milton Blue Jays, head coach of the softball team in Jackson Milton. We're going to let her in off the green room and say hello. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Coach, first and foremost, what we like to do with all of our teams here on YSN for the first time, we want to get a chance to sort of meet the team and what we expect to see on the field for Jackson Milton softball this year.
Yeah, we're excited. We have a couple girls that are returning this year. We have both of our freshman pitchers from last year coming back as sophomores, Riley Headley and Michaela Thornhill. So they've done a lot of growing in the last year. It's pretty funny to see them as sophomores now, just how much just confidence-wise and just looking older too. So they're both back. We have Mia Greco, Emily Foltz, Paige Grope. They're all three of them. They're juniors. They're coming back for us. And then we have 3 seniors this year. Kylie Wilson is coming back. Last year she joined us. And then we have a new senior joining us, Sarah Rader. So she's going to be a good asset to us as well. And then, of course, Chelsea Williams. Chelsea's our shortstop, and she's the first player that I've had from freshman to senior year. So it's been special, but those are all of our returners, and we have a couple freshmen and sophomores that will be stepping up for us. So we're kind of figuring out where everybody's fitting right now. So we're excited.
When you look at that roster that you just went over and you look at players that you're going to look to lead this team, whether it be vocally or emotionally or lead by example, who are some of the players that you're going to lean on to be leaders of this team?
I mean, definitely our juniors and seniors for sure. In the off season, Kylie and Chelsea were doing their thing for basketball. So I didn't get them until beginning of March, really. So I relied heavily on my juniors. So Emily, Mia, Paige, they kind of carried us all through winter workouts. So they did a fantastic job. And then now that I have my 3 seniors all together, they've really stepped up. So just expectations, they set the tone for the team and for our younger girls, and they do such a good job. I know that I can rely on them just to get things done the way that I expect it to be done. And they've been awesome so far.
What's your biggest takeaways from last season going into this year? And what are some things you want to try to keep at the same level you were at last year, and some things you might want to improve on as well?
Well, I think last year we talked about this last year when I called in. Our hitting was atrocious last year. Our team average was like barely 200. We've really struggled at the plate. And for us, I think it was just mentally. Because when we're in the cage and we're at practice, these girls hit so well and they know what to do at the plate, but it really is a mental game when they get up to the plate. So we've been working on that, just being more confident. That's something that we've truly been working on all winter. So hopefully we can grow and progress throughout the year and work on that team batting average. But when it comes to defense and pitching, I think that was really strong. And we always talk about how that kind of kept us in some of those games. Crestview, McDonald, Springfield, like we really battled with those teams, and it came down to defense and pitching, but we lost a lot of games because of our offense. So we're trying to find the balance there to win some of those games that we possibly could have won last year.
To be fair to your offense, those 3 teams you just mentioned, have very, very good pitching staffs.
They
with,
are. No, and that's what I said. I
um,
mean, all of the teams that we didn't necessarily, maybe win or do our best at the plate. Like, I know that we could do so much better. So, that's where the expectations come in. And when my seniors and my juniors step up and they're like, all right, we need to get this done and figure it out. So we've been working on it. That's our goal.
when you look at this offense, every team kind of has the offensive scheme or what they're strong at. Is it more of a speed thing? Do you think you have more power? What do you think is going to be like the strength of this offensive lineup that you're putting together?
I would say power, honestly. We have a lot of girls that hit really well and make really good contact. My thing is just they have to produce hits. And last year we kind of struggled with that. So it was tough. I'm in the office and the lights just turned off on me. Sorry. But that with power wise, we have some speed as well. I mean, Chelsea Williams is so quick around the bases. Mia Greco has the longest legs ever. So she takes like 3 strides and she's from first to second. So we're going to rely on that. I just want to move around the bases and produce hits and produce runs and do that the best we can.
Coach, I mean, just looking at this team going into the season, would you agree? I mean, out of all the sports we see progression going through the years too, but sophomore, junior year is usually a big one too for a lot of students in sports. Would you say that 1 year in the sport of softball can make all the difference in offensive numbers in a turnaround season?
100%. Yeah. I mean, even like I talked last year a lot, like Riley and Michaela last year, their freshman year, they were 14 coming in, and I was like, all right, put the team on your back because you two are our pitchers. And they were 2 of our most consistent hitters as well. So I really relied on them last year. And like I said, their growth from freshman to sophomore year is insane to me. And then last year, our juniors now, Mia, Emily, and Paige, when they were sophomores, they kind of last year, that was their first year as varsity because their freshman year was our COVID year. So even then, last year to this year, they have more varsity experience. They are a lot more confident. So there's a lot of growing that goes on, I would say specifically from freshman to sophomore year and sophomore to junior year. So I'm excited to see kind of what these girls do.
All right, so let's talk about this pitching in the circle that you have that's returning and so young and got a lot of experience last year. What kind of things do you? I mean, I always have to get better. What kind of things do you want these pitchers to get better at, improve at, and stay strong in this season?
I think just being more confident in the circle, and that definitely they grew a lot from beginning of last year to the end. I think there's different things for Riley and Michaela to work on, and they know it because I say it every practice. But for Riley, she's really been working on being confident in her rise ball and making sure that all of her pitches are kind of working, because there's times where it maybe necessarily wasn't clicking for her. And I tell her, I'm like, it's fine. Like if a pitch isn't working, we'll fix it. Like they get it out this game. Her to be just more confident and not hold herself so to this high standard and just go out and just do her thing, because those two did, like I said, they blew us away last year as freshmen. So just working, we've been doing pitchers and catchers, and I just want them to be more confident in their pitches and just be ready to throw whatever we're wanting to throw.
Often we talk about how coaches are able to teach these girls, and not only the X's and O's of the game or the on-field stuff, but what they're able to take with them outside of the coaches for the rest of their life too. So what are some things you try to teach outside of the sport of softball that you hope your girls take with them for the rest of their lives?
We talk all the time about life things, and I think that it's different when you coach high school girls, I think, compared to high school boys. So the girls always have, things they bring to practice, whether it's home or boys or friend issues, whatever it is. But I always tell them, like, when you're here, this is your escape. Like these 4 walls when we're in the gym, or when you're, inside the lines on the field, like everything else doesn't matter. When you're here, like this is your, hour and a half, 2 hours to just be with your team and leave everything else out there. But, I want them, I would hope, I think they know that I'm always there for them. And I truly am like one of their biggest supporters, and I want what's best for them at school, at home, at practice. So we talk about just about everything. And I think for them, I just want them to be confident in themselves, not just in softball, but in life. And, never expect anything to be handed to you. When you go to a job and you want a position or you want something, you have to work for it. So, just little things here and there. I get a lot of my sayings from my dad from growing up. So I always tell them, like, that's a Coach Chick line. So I hope that maybe since it's instilled in me, I can instill it in them too.
Coach, let's talk about the schedule that you guys have put together and some of the teams that pop on. Obviously, we know your conference is full of really good teams and really good pitching, but talk about this schedule, some of the non-conference teams you're playing, and how much do you think it'll prepare you for a postseason?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be facing a lot of good teams this year. I think we have Lisbon, we have Newton Falls, Columbiana, the ones that aren't in our conference. So, I mean, they all are great teams, but it's nice to kind of see that as well. So it prepares us for our conference. And because like you said, it's a tough conference. We have, Waterloo, Springfield are always tough ones, McDonald, our battle with Western Reserve every year. It's always, we have to be on our game for those. So when we're playing those games that are non-conference games, it's kind of nice to see different competition and gets us ready for tournaments as well.
We know every great coach can't go as far as they do without a great support system around them. So we want to give you the chance to highlight some of your assistants and some other big names in this Jackson Milton softball program.
Yeah, I have Karina Kennedy. She's my varsity assistant, and Amelia Menenti, who is my JV coach. So I have those two. They were with me last year, and they were incredible. I think us three together, we think the same way. We have, the same expectations for the girls. So it works so well. And I always throw out my dad. My dad is like my go-to for everything. I call him after practices and after games. And when he comes to games, I'm like, all right, I want your opinion. What do you think? What should I change? What do I do differently? So I would say those three are definitely my backbone, and I would be completely lost without them.
All right, Coach, we wish you the best of luck this year. We thank you for coming on to give us a preview of the season. Not too long away. I mean, scrimmages probably start next week for you guys.
It's crazy. The 22nd is our first one, so at home against United. So I'm hoping our field dries up by then.
Hoping it warms up a little bit.
That's what I said. It's supposed to be 70, so I'm crossing my fingers. Maybe a couple of days of warm full dry.
70 and dry would be just awesome.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
You got it, Coach. We'll see you again soon.
Okay.
Coach Mariah Ciccolelli, the head coach of the Jackson Milton Blue Jays softball team, joining us to give another wonderful spring sports preview. First of many today, Ty, because we have Mike Colopy of the Edison baseball team coming on at 1. Gary Niddle from Canfield Baseball is going to come on at 1:15. We have then Brian Warner, the head coach of the Louisville baseball team, coming on at 1:45 as well today. So a lot of spring sports previews to get through today, as well as more talk about the basketball game last night and more talk about the Cheney and Louisville games that are happening tonight in Canton. A lot of fun on Running Point, but we are going to take our first break of the day. When we come back, we'll have more fun. This is Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
For a great vehicle and a great experience, come to Boardman Mitsubishi today. As always, our full lineup of Mitsubishi models comes with a standard 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Boardman Mitsubishi, your hometown Mitsubishi dealer since 1999.
Coca's Pizza, always supporting our community and our local athletes. Stop in on game day or score big and have it delivered right to your door. Check out our daily specials at cocaspizza.com. That's Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
At Hubbard Chevrolet, Hubbard can help you get the financing you need, regardless of your situation. I'm Tony Page, and I've helped thousands of customers in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania buy a vehicle. Visit HubbardChevy.com to get pre-approved. Remember, folks, Hubbard can help.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell. And perfect segue from our softball preview with Jackson Milton. I'm going to bring up the comment by DJ Oakley to get us into this conversation. We want to give a warm and great congratulations to Pat Kinney, the head coach of the girls basketball team. He has decided to retire and step down. 26 years to the Jackson Milton program. He had a stint at Jackson Milton, went to Lordstown, and went back to Jackson Milton. But he has made.
I was going to say, I thought he spent some time at Lordstown, but he's been a coach around the area for a while. And you know what? It's just another one of those great coaches that you see in the area. And happy for him to retire. He might turn up in the coaching scene again, but I mean, if this is the end for him, I hope he has a nice and a peaceful retirement now to sit back and relax a little bit.
I have a feeling that he won't be able to stay away from the game. I have a
feeling
that he'll find a way to be an assistant somewhere or a consultant or in some way, shape, form, or fashion be a part of a program somewhere. I think he's just being a head coach can wear you down a little bit. And when you put in 26 years of being a head coach, that is 26 years of being one program's head coach, more years total. It's time,
or even to be a defensive coordinator, as Coach Blanche would say too, just be something like that somewhere.
It's hard to go away from the game. So I'm sure he'll find some way to stay in it. But this year for Jackson Milton, what a way to go out. I mean, he was placed with 6 players on the roster. That's all he had to work with. And he still managed to get a 4 seed in Division 4 and put together a really good basketball team with a couple of really good seniors. Kylie Wilson, by the way, one of his seniors this morning signed to play basketball at Marietta College. So congratulations to her. And she'll be on the softball field as well as Chelsea Williams.
I was going to say, we get to see both of them, that dynamic duo, one more time for one more season.
Also, a senior for Jackson Milton, Destiny McCullough, don't want to leave her out. She had a great season as well and a great career at Jackson Milton. But yeah, congratulations to Pat Kinney on a wonderful career. We've loved covering you throughout the Jackson Milton time that they've been on YSN. And names before, he coached the Tatani twins for Jackson Milton that were tough back in the earlier 2010s. He coached Jackson Milton back in the day when they were just a powerhouse, and they went head to head with Springfield for area dominance in girls basketball. And now here we are, saying kind of letting him walk off into the sunset. And he's I believe the first head coach to step down so far this year. And what a great way to do it, going out on top, going out with a great season, and wishing Jackson Milton the best of luck and trying to fill that gap next year. It's going to be hard. It's a hard shoes to fill.
I wonder how many more we'll see do that. And speaking of coaches that have been coaching a long time, Coach Fritz from Latonia announced, I believe, that he's coming back. Yeah. And that's like, 40? I
think it's 41 years
or 41. It's like he's been there for a hefty minute there. And I mean, when you give that many years and dedication to a program, I mean, that's the model of consistency too. And it's like when there is finally the next head coach, like it's so hard to replace a legacy, but you have a foundation laid there for you of 40 some years at a program.
Yep. I mean, there's going to be a lot of programs from different sports that are going to have to do it eventually. I mean, you look at South Range football. Eventually, there's going to be someone that has to replace Dan Yeagley. You look at eventually there's going to have to be someone that replaces Paul Cusick at Crestview. You can't coach forever. That's one of the hard things of life. You got to move on eventually, and there are a lot of great coaches that have put in a lot of years to different programs around the area, whether it be football, volleyball, baseball, softball. Someone's going to have to replace Cheryl Weaver at one point. And I hate using the word replace. I'm going to say fill the shoes of, because you don't replace coaches like this. You just kind of try to revamp it. Eric Fender had to step into the shoes of
I
Ken
think
Griswold.
extend the program is
Right.
even a better way to phrase it too.
And what the greatness is of being able to be with a program that long, you kind of get the feeling when it's starting to come, and then you can start to put in a plan for what the program's going to look like after you're gone. And I'm sure a lot of these coaches have started to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you can't be afraid to modernize the program as well, too, and be able to change with the times. And I mean, there's a lot more that goes beyond it, too. I mean, gauging interest, too, just for the program at a younger age. And I think that's where all coaches will tell you that's where the success of programs are, where it's not just a successful year and how you have consistently successful seasons is just having that youth talent that is staying interested and staying vested all the way up through the high school ranks. I mean, you're basically creating a farm system then right there for talent.
We've talked about what it takes to be longevity. I don't know if that's grammatically correct to say be longevity, but to have longevity as a coach. And you brought up one, you have to change with the times. I mean, kids are going to be coached differently now than they were coached in like 2000 or 1999 or whatever it may be. You got to be able to adjust to the kids that you have. And then you also have to be able to adjust philosophy and adjust culture and adjust your scheme of things based on your what you have in your hold. You can't just be, if you're a football coach, you can't just always say we're going to run the triple T, triple wing, whatever, triple option offense and say no matter what we have, we're going to run this. When all of a sudden you have athletes that would be much more able to run a spread offense, you can't just be stuck in your ways. You're not going to be longevity. You're not going to have longevity. I made that mistake again. With that kind of mentality. So
I don't know if I heard this from a coach or I saw it somewhere, but it was something along the lines of the best coaches don't try to fit players to their scheme. The best coaches fit a scheme to their players. Right. And I mean, I wish so. That would be cool. Like I have an actual like bunker. Like it looks like I'm in a prison and but no, I have like a bunker.
Where are those dashes, Ty?
I actually just saw I think a post on Facebook of like a guy that has like a bunker that had like a swimming pool, a movie theater in it, like everything you'd ever want. So like if doomsday happens, he's like, I'm still living it up. Like there's nothing that's stopping that, man.
He's set. And I'm in the blue dungeon, so that's what DJ called it on Tuesday. So the blue dungeon and whatever you're in, the bunker.
The blue dungeon and the
Bartel bunker.
Oh, I feel like that's the bunker. I feel like I like that one.
Oh man, great stuff. But once again, congratulations on a wonderful career, and we hope you enjoy retirement, Pat, because you've done a lot for that Jackson Milton program, and you've done a lot for us. He's always one that supports YSN. Every time I did a Jackson Milton game, he was one of the coaches that would come up after the game, whether we were doing a post-game interview because they won or because he just wanted to say, hey, you guys are doing a great job. Keep it up, even if they didn't win the game. So he's a great supporter of YSN. We couldn't thank him enough for all he's done for the student athletes at Jackson Milton, and we're going to miss seeing him on the sidelines.
Yeah, there was not a game that I went to with Jackson Milton this season that Coach Kenny didn't say thank you or just thanks for coming or thanks for being here. And I mean, that's huge. I was gonna say, DJ, yeah, the bunker's nice, but I feel like I don't want to. They aren't gonna want to share that one.
You're right. They beat you to it.
They beat me to it. I was gonna say that too, but I don't want to.
Bartel bomb shelter.
I don't know. I don't know if I was allowed to say
Bartel panic room.
But yeah, I'll be in the actual bunker on Thursday. This is just the Bartel break
I
room
feel
is
like that bunker was named for like the sand bunker because it's like a golf place. I don't know if, but I could be wrong. It was named after like a wartime bunker. Like we're gonna go into
we're gonna go in
safety
there.
location, visit the
We're
bunker.
gonna give you a helmet and a machine gun, and they're just like, "Come on, come on, soldier,
Protect this gate at all costs.
protect this gate at all costs."
Fort Knox bunker. You don't have any gold in that closet, do you?
Yeah, I wish it leads to the bunker.
I think that closet leads to Narnia, to be honest.
Narnia, if you go through it, if you take the pull down, it goes
No.
right to the bunker.
Take the pull down and take a left at the raincoat. It'll take you right to that lamppost.
The
in Narnia.
Wonka Vader's to the left, straight through is Narnia. The pull down into the Bat Cave. Anthony, you're uninvited now. I'm sorry to break it to you.
If you've hit the Batmobile, you've gone too far.
Yeah, you can't come. You can't come to the bunker now, Ant. I'm sorry to break it to you. You're not allowed at the bunker now.
Oh dang. I guess I'll just go get some Sabaro's pizza from the mall.
You're allowed. You're still gonna come to the mall.
Why is it there?
You're gonna watch from the outside. You're not gonna. You're still gonna show up just to eat pizza on
I'm
the
like
outside.
poking in, like trying to catch a glimpse of the TV. Is LSU up? I have them in the Sweet 16.
Oh man, oh man.
One
One
time,
time,
have to, because obviously Thursday we're gonna have the March Madness party at the bunker. We're not gonna have a show on next Thursday because from 12 to 6 we'll be doing the March Madness at the bunker in the Southern Park Mall. But maybe Wednesday we can have like a March Madness segment.
That would
and
be
go through our
cool.
bracket and try to see who we're gonna pick.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Oh man, what's this one say?
Why is Anthony drinking Mountain Dew from World War II?
Because I'm getting myself rationally ready. Hey, let's see what year this is from.
From the bunker. He's ready to go to the bunker.
I'm ready to go. Like, let's go.
That's the juice to get him ready for the bunker. But no, I mean, a March Madness show would be kind of cool too, because I mean, hey, it's whatever we can fit into between softball and baseball coaches, because they're appearing rapidly. We got a bunch, and we've had Coach Colopy actually on the show before, but we're previewing him a little bit early. But I just wanted to give him a shout out, as he'll be on at 1. So football coach. We've had him on twice, I think, 2 or 3 times.
Nice. Pulling double duty, coaching the baseball team as well.
And we've had another one, Coach I for Wyndham's going to be doing the same too, with football and with baseball. And we'll get a chance to talk with him, I believe, next Wednesday as well. So he'll be the one on the show. That's what made me think of it. Next Wednesday, I believe Coach I is going to be on the show. So we'll be able to talk with him as well from Wyndham Baseball.
That's our first year of
Bomber baseball. See, speaking of bunker.
It's our first year of Wyndham baseball. First year of Howland baseball and softball.
Howland is known too for their baseball softball program.
First year of Badger baseball softball. Am I missing one?
Garfield.
Yep. First year of Garfield. Thank you. Garfield baseball softball. And you're going to see a lot of those players that you saw during basketball season on the softball field for Garrettsville Garfield too.
That's true. And I mean, there's a lot of those players for Garfield play 3 sports, though. I mean, you get to see a lot of them 3 ways, too. So.
I got to see a couple of them, not just at Garfield, but they play some travel ball in the area. Sydney Seaman is an amazing defensive catcher. Can make some really good plays back there as a backstop. So that's one of the ones that really caught my eye. Obviously, Sarah Seaman's a good hitter as well. So they're both going to be in a presence in that Garrettsville Garfield softball game.
I'm just excited to preview our All-Star game on March 26th too. That's coming up. Obviously, as it gets closer, we'll talk a lot more about it. But just keep on seeing these rosters getting filled out too. And I mean, daily.
Getting on it. What's this say?
Thanks, Pop. Appreciate the support. It was fun to call that one too, and it was a competitive game. But this All-Star game too has been won. What time does that All-Star game? Do we know the times on those?
Girls at oh geez, DT's gonna roast me if I'm wrong. Girls at 5, boys following.
Okay. I wasn't sure because I didn't know if it got posted on that. So yeah. But it's exciting because literally every day, we've been filling out the rosters. You've been seeing them every day, and it's always
Today, we
exciting to see.
announced the Louisville representatives, Prochek and Lucente are going to be on. We announced Cheney's representatives as well.
Leona Williams and DaVinci McDowell.
Yep.
Zeta Creaky from
Zeta
Fitch.
Creaky got announced today. So yeah, the more days that go by, you stay on our social media posts, and we will be announcing those. Oh geez,
With some great graphics. Intro for girls at 5 p.m. Boys to follow.
Save myself there. I would have been fired on the spot if I was wrong, I think.
Yeah, the weight of your career. Weighed in on that one question.
That's it.
You put all the eggs in that basket. You told DJ you could fire me if I get this one wrong to anybody. Oh, man. But no, looking at these upcoming games too, Ant, we still got to talk about Cheney and Akron, St. Vincent, St. Mary, Louisville and Glenville too. Both these teams with a chance to go to the regional final. And hey, if the chips fall in our favor, we might get to see all YSN teams.
Yeah, and it's going to be two widely different basketball games too, because Cheney and Akron, St. Vincent, St. Mary are both going to want to play faster, fast tempo, cause live ball turnovers, getting the full court press, run as fast as you can. And then I think Glenville, and I was talking about it yesterday, and Coach Siegfried talked about it yesterday too. They're more of a slow defensive. They play good team defense, but I still think ball to ball, if they have one person on Willa Jancic, I don't think they have one defender that can cover him one-on-one. So I think Louisville might be doing a lot of things to try to get him ISO'd and get him one-on-one.
It's going to be exciting to see too. And I mean, the winners of these two matchups go up against each other too, and it would be awesome to see Cheney pull off the unthinkable, because it's going to be an upset in program terms. I mean, by no doubt. But this is if there's anyone from this area that can knock off that team, I said it the other day and I'll say it again, it's going to be the Cheney Cowboys.
Yeah, I think so. The way Mooney's playing defense, I'd love to see Mooney go up against them.
Yeah, Mooney too. I mean, might be a little bit division down. I feel like but
right now Mooney's defense is like, come on, come on. You think you're a good offense?
I thought too, it'll probably be a little bit higher than what it was last night. But going into last night's game, Mooney went from averaging 42 points on defense, allowing 42 in the season. In the playoffs, 34.5 it was going into last night, and it didn't get much higher. So, I mean, just Mooney's defense has been allowing under 40 points, and if you do that to any team, I don't care who you are, you're winning a lot of basketball.
50. So you allow under 40, and they score about 50, I think, per game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
50.9, something like that.
So, I mean, what Mooney's been doing defensively and the competition they played all season definitely helped with it.
So last night was pretty much their average. They scored around their average and they let up around their average. So that's for their money game, really.
And they played all that tough competition throughout the regular season to prepare them for these moments.
I love Ashton O'Brien stepping up in back-to-back tournament games big for his team. I mean, that's a sophomore.
You got him. Russell Turner's young too. I mean,
so I was thinking like it's going to have to be the seniors stepping up in this regional semifinal game, and not saying Mick Hergenrother and Drew Pecchia didn't step up, but man, the young kids from Mooney are just not shying away from the stage at all, and I love it.
And I mean, you can, and I mean, when you get back-to-back regional appearances, I think it helps as well. And I think making it further than they did last year is huge for this program, and I think the chance now to play to get to state and get to the Final Four. I mean, what an opportunity the Cardinals have in front of them now.
And then you'll look at the Cheney St. Vincent St. Mary matchup and the Louisville Glenville matchup, and like you said, the winners go to one step away from the state. And you look at you look at this the Louisville Glenville matchup, and I said it before. These are going to be two games that the one game might be like Mooney Campbell last night, where it's lower scoring, first team to 55 kind of wins. And the other game might be like, wouldn't it be awesome if it was like 95 to 86 or something like nutso offense?
Cheney puts up 86 points of just on St. V's defense.
Right.
Cheney just starts going off.
Because both teams just like get in transition a lot, force live ball turnovers and run. Someone commented this on the Power Hour yesterday. I think it's important too. They're going to have to get the naming is escaping me from St. Vincent St. Mary, but the kid that's going to Illinois in the first matchup, they got him in the foul trouble, and that's why it was competitive for about a half and a little bit of that third quarter too. They need to get him into foul trouble again. The team he's not the only kid that can score on the Irish's roster, but he's almost like the little engine, like that they're a different team when he's not on the floor.
He wills them to a next level, honestly. And I mean, it's going to be interesting to see tonight in this matchup and in the next one too, who steps up for Cheney when they need him to score too. Like, we know the big scores, we know the big names, but who are those other names? Who are the role players, and who's going to step up on defense is the big question.
Give me DJ Waller, the big man with a big momentum dunk.
I mean, those kind of highlight reel dunks can really energize and turn a crowd.
What did Coach Palermo call it when he was talking about Camel? We can't let him have. I think he called them sledgehammer dunks. Do you remember what he called them? But they're like the breakaway dunks that are like big and they get the crowd involved in it. Those are the ones that Cheney needs. Cheney needs a breakaway dunk that gets the crowd just absolutely bonkers in that Civic Center.
Yeah, and I think it was last night too. Credit to Jackson Mino that really stopped a Kevin Moore dunk from happening, knocking a ball loose. And that one, that was a defensive play too. The defensive plays that don't get recognized nearly enough, I feel like, but needs to be recognized. That defensive play late in the game too, in the fourth quarter, really kept momentum squarely in Mooney's favor and didn't let Camel take it back.
I might be in the minority here, but I would sacrifice a personal foul to stop a dunk. Like, if I have to get in front of the guy and take a blocking foul, then I'm going to
don't get dunked on.
Because I am not going to get, like, you are not dunking in a fast break opportunity to get momentum, because a foul and free throws don't get momentum, but a throwdown dunk gets momentum. So if I have to hack you to stop you from fouling, then that's what I'm doing.
And I mean,
stop you from dunking.
You gotta just make sure you stop them from dunking and don't get dunked on.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, send them to the line too. Make them earn it.
Like, as a competitor, I'd just be like, you're not dunking on me. There's no way I'm letting you get this momentum by having a fast breakaway dunk. And I see too many guys just like let up and watch. Like, go after the ball or something. Like, oh, he sent a dunk. I know it happens really quick, and it's a lot easier said than done. I'm obviously not a basketball player. But sometimes it makes me scratch my head when I see a guy like go up to, he's going to defend the dunk, but then instead of like jumping, he just goes, huh.
Well, you ain't gonna get dunked on, right? You're not gonna step in front of it to get dunked on.
I'd rather get posterized than just.
Oh my God! Now you're taking it a step further.
Yes.
Some people don't want to know. No, some
as
people
a competitor, wouldn't you like Ty? As a competitor, wouldn't you rather get like on a poster than just watch the guy do it? Like, what is that? Like, there's got to be some fire in your gut.
I mean, there's got to be fire, but you got to also know your matchups. And if you know you have no chance and you're going to get posterized, why take the risk of injury just to have him dunk on you and you're going to foul him?
Put your body on the line.
You're going to put your body on the line too, but also be smart enough to know your limits. And if you're going to get posterized and obliterated, don't hurt yourself for the sake of
obliterated. And then he misses the dunk, though.
Well, yeah, but if you're going to get obliterated, it's not going
to go on a poster unless he actually throws it down. Right? Actually, it might go on a poster either way. I mean, they can stop it right before he puts it in.
Anthony's just like, throw your body on the line.
No, like you're not dunking. That dunk could change the game. Like Kevin Moore, if he dunks that ball, it could have been a game changer.
Oh, no
Could have
doubt.
done it.
I mean,
So whatever it takes to stop him from doing that inside the game, don't like undercut him. Anything that it takes to go and stop that from happening, I'm all for it.
Let me just say too, getting there early at the Canton Memorial Fieldhouse, I mean, almost just starstruck when you walk in. It's such a beautiful, beautiful facility. And I mean, just the seats, the wraparound, the double deck. I mean, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous facility.
Their AD there at McKinley, and once again the name escapes me, so I apologize. But I know he was the AD at Uniontown Lake for a long time, and he's a big reason why Uniontown Lake is consistently still hosting districts and regionals on girls and boys side. He does a phenomenal job of running that place. He runs it so efficiently. He's not going to be happy if you take up a spot and then you don't show up and things like that. So props to that guy. I mean, he does a great job. It takes a lot to consistently run a tournament every year and consistently do it the way he does. So they're a great group of people down there in the Canton Memorial Fieldhouse. And like you said, it's one of those venues that you just walk into and you go, wow, I'm actually here. It's double deck. They got the scoreboards in the corner.
I just want to make
removable baskets.
Right. I'm going, but it's not. It's the Civic Center tonight. I'm going to the Civic Center, and I've heard that's also gorgeous too. So I'm excited to go there.
A little less old school, but a little. They both have their own charm in their own way.
Yeah, so I'm excited to kind of get the look and feel of both too, and it'll also be the first time seeing these out of town school teams for me this year too, and for I think YSM. Well, except St. Vincent St. Mary, and I don't know, did Glenville play any of the teams? It's the first time I'm going to get to see these teams, so I'm always excited to get to see new teams and new competition for the area.
All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have Mike Colopy, the head coach of the Edison baseball team, joining us at 1:00 on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, shop with confidence knowing we're ready to go the extra mile for you. With the largest selection of used vehicles in the Valley, backed by the Greenwood Advantage Warranty. Every one of our vehicles has undergone our own 126-point inspection, so it passes the most important inspection, yours. No other dealership has the extra inventory, gives you extra for your trade, and goes the extra mile for you. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the four words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell. As he pops in, we are patiently waiting Mike Colopy of the Edison baseball team to join us for a preview of the Wildcats baseball season at 1 o'clock. Ty, as we venture on into this spring sports preview, and the weather looks decent, 41, 42. I want it warmer. Coach Chickley wanted 70 next week on the 22nd. I hope so. That would be really fun. 70 degrees in middle of March.
I'll take it. I mean, Ohio, anything's possible, so we've seen that.
I don't know, 70 degrees in your what are we calling it? The bomb shelter might get really hot really quick in there.
Yeah, it will get really hot really quick. Got to kick on the AC.
If you're cold, you can just head over to Narnia real quick.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, honestly, I thought it's if you're hot. And isn't there snow in Narnia?
I meant hot because we were talking about being hot and the temperature going up.
I was gonna say, I thought there was snow in Narnia.
There's snow, but not anymore because the witch has been defeated, right?
And if I want to get warm, I got the Bat Cave.
Wait, why is the Bat Cave warm?
I don't know. It's underground. It's heated. We keep it nice here.
We're off the rails. We're talking about the indoor temperatures of the Bat Cave. Thank the world that Mike Colopy hopped on, because we're gonna bring him on and save us from ourselves and talk about
Not
this.
his first time being on the show, but it's the first time for this season being on this show. So we'll welcome in Coach Colopy.
How you guys doing?
How we doing, Coach?
Good seeing you guys.
Nice seeing you again. I mean, we got a chance to talk with you a couple times during the football season, so we bring you on now for the baseball season. Like we like to do with all of our coaches, we start off with a sort of meet the team segment. Who we expect to see out of the Edison baseball program turning some heads this year?
Well, you mean in terms of the players we have back?
Yeah, players you have back, and maybe some new players too that might surprise people.
We returned 6 to 7 guys from last year's team. We graduated 3 seniors. Blake Conley, who played shortstop and was one of our main pitchers. We graduated Jaden Sanders, who was a utility guy. He was him and Blake were our two top arms, and then we graduated our second baseman. So as far as returning, we returned seniors Cam Cooley. He was one of our top 3 pitchers. He plays first base as well. Ian McBain played third base and right field and pitched a little bit for us. Isaac Zastel was our left fielder. He returns there. And Eli Wilson was our catcher. So those guys are our seniors. Our juniors we have back. Gage Klein was our center fielder, and he did some pitching. Matt Parsons was a utility guy. He's another pitcher. And then we also had Braden Moses, who, he was a utility infielder. He ended up playing. I mean, there was a few scenarios where he didn't play, but he started the majority of the games for us, depending on who was pitching. And then we had a couple guys transfer in. Hunter Rothacker from Indian Creek. He's a pitcher and a first baseman. And Luke Taylor is a pitcher and a middle infielder from Steubenville. So those guys, we're adding them to our roster. We have some good young guys that we're taking a look at as well. So a lot of that will play out, once we get into scrimmages.
Yeah, when you get into this preseason, you start to look at your roster, you start to figure out what you got and what your strengths are and everything like that. What are some goals for the season that you think you can set as a coaching staff and as a team that are realistic goals for this team to accomplish and that you're probably going to set before the season starts?
Well, I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you. We come in every year in our first meeting, we tell the kids, this isn't a goal, but, no one, everybody that's in this room is here to win a state championship. So that's the only time it's ever stated. In terms of our goals, we explain to them, what it takes to get to that point. And that's basically daily improvement. We have kind of a hallmark of things that we want to be really good at. We put an emphasis on being fundamentally sound. We put an emphasis on being aggressive, being a very aggressive team, taking chances, playing to win. we love and we coach our kids to be very disciplined, and that's on and off the field, but especially, during baseball, understanding situations and, being disciplined and executing what we're asking you to execute. And then mental toughness, like I was telling our kids yesterday at practice, baseball, in terms of being able to deal with failure, is probably the toughest sport you're playing, because, there's so much failure, and being able to keep yourself at an even pace or even state mentally, and not getting too excited with the good games and not thinking you stink with the bad games, and just kind of letting things take care of itself. And we have some other things that we work on during games that aren't related to necessarily, winning the game, but they're things that if we accomplish throughout, the course of each pitch, the percentages are on our side as far as, having the opportunity to win.
14 plus years now at this Edison program, 269 and 107 overall record. What do you attribute to as the key, I guess, if you will, to the long-term success that you've been able to sustain with the program?
Well, honestly, it starts with, my mentor actually is our superintendent and our former head coach, Coach Beatty, who's our superintendent. He was the first baseball coach we had at Edison. When we consolidated north and south consolidated, he was the one and only head coach before I, took over from him when he retired. So he basically set the program up. And so when I took over from him, I took over a program that was successful, that was already, functioning at a very high level, that had standards, so that was, that played a big part into it. And then I would say continuity, the first, 10, 12 years, me and Coach Jim Marcus, were his assistants, and Jim and I were coaching together when I took over the head coaching job. He was our pitching coach. So there's a lot of continuity. There's not a lot of changeover. Nick Howell, has been our head JV coach. I've been the head coach for 15 years minus one with COVID, and Nick was a JV coach for 2 years under Coach Beatty. So there's been a lot of continuity. We have former players that come back to coach with us. So, in terms of when we're coaching kids and teaching them, how we do things, and it's not like there's a certain way we do things, but baseball, to be fundamentally sound, you have to work on certain things, and we have kind of a way of doing that. I'm just, grateful that when we bring those guys back in, it's not like we have to sit down and go over things with them because they played for us. Jim Marcus retired 2 years ago as our pitching coach. Mark Smith is now our pitching coach. He had a very successful career here as a high school player. He owns West Liberty's pitching wins record at West Liberty University. He played professional ball in Canada, and he played for the Washington Wild Things down in Washington, PA. Corey Wickham, who's another varsity assistant, he was on my very first team when we went to the Final Four. He's been with us for 7 or 8 years. He coached the kids in the summer before he was on our high school staff. Nolan Marcus, he played for me, was an outstanding player, played in college as well. There's a lot of continuity with coaching staff. And honestly, it comes from we've had some really good players who've been dedicated to baseball, and we have families that understand what it takes, to be supportive of their child, because, as a parent of 2 girls, they obviously, they're not baseball players, but they play travel soccer, and my wife and I are all over the place, and it's a commitment from the parents as well. So I would say, to wrap everything up, the program that I took over from Coach Beatty, the continuity of assistants, having really good players, and having dedicated parents.
Coach, let's talk about your schedule this year, what it looks like, what your conference that you play looks like, and then what are some out-of-conference teams that you're excited for the challenge for and you think that will prepare you for the postseason?
Well, our schedule, we don't have that many out-of-conference opponents, but we have Heartland Christian, which they had a really solid team last year. I believe I know they were in the districts. I feel like they were in the district finals. They were a solid club. They had a lot of really good players. And then locally, there's just a lot of good baseball. We're in a Buckeye 8 league and then the OVAC. So Buckeye 8 league, Harrison Central has a couple D1 guys, that they have right now. Indian Creek they were lost in district finals last year. They're always solid. East Liverpool, they have a lot of really good players right now. They split with us last year. And then Beaver Local has athletes all over the place, and Coach Agnew does a good job with them. And, they're always tough and competitive, no matter who they play. But I'm just, obviously looking from our end of it. Then we play Steubenville Big Red, who has, great history as well. And like I said, the schedule, when you name all those teams, you play everybody twice. That's a lot of competition. So we have our hands cut out for us this year.
Still managed to get a winning record though last year, and I mean at 14 and 13, and with all you have returning, I mean I got to feel optimistic going into this season. And where do you think the ceiling is, and or I guess expectations for this season? I guess preseason expectations for you.
Well, I really like where we're at right now, but where we're at right now is not where we need to be. I told the kids yesterday after practice, what was good yesterday is not good today. But I really like I feel like we have a really close team. I believe there's good chemistry. And obviously, when you're going through team sports, you have your ups and downs during the season. And, when you're on the negative side of things, or if you're going through some adversity, usually, the type of person you are, your characters reveal, and also how close your team is. So I feel confident that we have a lot of guys that care about each other, and they're really close. As far as fundamentals, I think we've improved, but we have a long way to go. We'll find out, the next couple weeks. We have some pretty challenging scrimmages. We play Wheeling Park, who's always good. They're a West Virginia team. We scrimmage them. Indian Valley, they have a storied program. Coshocton, Coach Pratty and I, have known each other for a while, and he has some really good players there. And then we finished with Union Local, who beat us twice last year in the regular season. So, I mean, it's a challenging schedule as far as scrimmages, but also, we got to see where we're at. And as far as the goal that I want, I told the kids yesterday that, that us as a coaching staff, we want to have our kids playing at their very best individually and as a team, when it counts. And that's at the end of the season when the tournament rolls around. You always want to be playing your best then.
All right, Coach, before we let you go, why don't you let us know when your first game is, where it'll be, and give the Edison fans a call to action to get out and support this team all season.
Absolutely. Our first game is Monday, March 28th. We open up against East Liverpool at home. We just, our community school district, put their heads and hearts and pocketbooks together. We have a brand new all-turf field that's at the high school. So we're very blessed to have that. We've been outside every day but one practicing. So we'll debut our new field against Liverpool at home, which, like I said, I mean, they beat the dog crap out of us one game last year, so we'll have our hands full.
Coach, I just really want to quickly ask you, too, before we let you go, too, just your experience with turning this football team around to the last few years. They've been successful. My final question for you, do you find it beneficial coaching more than one sport as a coach? And do you find yourself maybe not taking like plays or the X's and O's, but maybe coach mentality from one to the other sport?
That's a very good question. I was actually texting back and forth with a good friend of mine, Mark Caesar, who just took over John Marshall's football program, and he is their baseball coach as well. And, is it challenging? Yeah, it can be challenging. The coaching to me, it's just a different sport. So it's, obviously sports are different, but coaching's still the same. I feel like the mindset that we've had at baseball here, has been a mindset of it didn't matter who we were playing. We thought we were winning every game. And that's, when I interviewed for the job, I talked to our administration and superintendent, and obviously Mr. Beatty knows that mindset, being our head coach. And that's what we want to build in football. And obviously 1 year is just 1 year, but, we want to build something consistent. And to do that, you got to do it from the ground up. There's no shortcuts. There's different, you have to be strong in both sports, mental toughness, fundamentally sound, being disciplined. So there's some carryovers, but the biggest adjustment with me in football was, as an assistant, you don't really know all the stuff the head coach does. I didn't know there was as many interviews as they were. There's a lot more postseason honors. Baseball, you basically have a few, and there's like you have OVAC, you have your league, you have Eastern District, and then if you have kids good enough to make All State. In football, there's tons of different awards. So I learned that aspect of it, which I'm sure I'll do a better job next year moving forward in that area.
Coach, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us today, giving us a preview of Edison baseball. We wish you the best of luck this season, and we hope to talk to you again real soon.
All right. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. See you guys later.
That was Mike Colopy, the head coach of the Edison baseball team. And we go from one baseball preview to the other, as it is now going to be Gary Niddle, the head coach of
one successful program to another too, and a program last year that had a lot of success, and seems like a lot of stars that are returning too. And Gary Niddle coming right back to the scene for these stars this year. How we doing, Coach?
Doing okay. How you guys doing?
Not bad. I mean, we're loving getting into spring sports. I think Anthony's getting real giddy. We got baseball and softball starting, so he's loving it as well. Coach, as we talk with all of our coaches here, and what we like to always start off with is the sort of meet the team segment. We know there's a lot of returning talent to this team, so highlight them and some maybe new names that you think might catch the eye of Canfield crowds and other baseball nuts around the area.
Kind of ironic that you just mentioned meet the team. We actually have our meet the team night tonight after practice, so I guess I should probably get a little practice in mentioning some of these names, because I'll be doing it a little bit later tonight. Some of the names, obviously, are kind of well-known names because of what they did last year. We do have a lot returning this year, but we do have a couple younger guys that are going to have to step up and fill some roles. So, I mean, our senior class, it's not a huge class. We got 6 seniors led by Landon Cheese, Ryan Petro, Nate Shaw. All 3 of those will be, probably our 1, 2, and 3 starters this year, all back. Landon Cheese is committed to Ohio State and has won all kind of accolades. He was pitcher of the year last year as a junior, and he's a left-hander that's been up to 94, 95 miles an hour with really good secondary stuff. Ryan Petro matched him pitch for pitch last year as a senior, or as a junior last year as a senior. This year went 8-0 for us also on the mound. Nate Shaw, who's committed to Wright State, played a lot of shortstop for us last year, but he's actually committed as a pitcher to Wright State, and he's been up to 90 so far in our offseason workouts. So we're looking forward to getting him back on the mound this year. Jake Gerdick is a senior. Obviously, you know him from his basketball prowess. He had a great basketball season, but he's also very dominant on the mound for us. He was our closer last year, and he's going to fill that role, and he's going to get some starts for us a big part of this season, because I think he's earned it. And then the last senior on the mound would be Brock Baker, who, he's that mix. We got a lot of guys that are, touching that 90-mile-an-hour mark, where Brock is a little secondary guy. He's going to come in. He's going to be that righty that's going to, keep people off balance. And then our 6th senior is Josh Giuliano. Do I need to say any more? It's a shame, Richie won't be around a whole lot this year to watch his brother in his senior year, but, Josh just lit the world on fire last year offensively. I
think all you have to do is say his...
Go ahead.
All you have to do is say his batting average and just leave it there, and I think that's enough.
Yeah, I mean, he was in the nation. He was in the top 5 in the nation batting average last year. So, and I left off, and I'm going to go quick because I know we don't have a ton of time, but I'm just going to name some names. Obviously, AJ Avrilla, who's a junior. Ben Slanker is also a junior. They're both committed. AJ's going to Ohio State, and Ben's going to OU. Connor Miller is going to pitch for us as a junior. Ethan Prout and Steven Maschak are going to be our middle guys when Nate Shaw's on the mound. Logan Kayavek, Jamison Beck also going to pitch for us. I mean, we got a lot of arms, which is we're very thankful for, and Logan Kayavek's going to be the guy that he's probably going to be a DH role for us this year. He's a big kid that has a very potent bat. And then we got 3 sophomores that are going to see varsity time, and Jake Schneider. Michael Patelis is our catcher. He's going to be our everyday catcher as a sophomore, and Scotty Eaton will be out in the outfield at times and throw a little bit. And then we do have one freshman that is kind of put his name on the map, which is really rare, especially with the guys we have back, and that's Zane Jadala, who I think might play a role come tournament time.
Coach,
I'm done.
Okay, you're good. With all of the players returning and what you guys did last year, aren't a lot of question marks on this roster. I think people know what you're bringing to the table. So I guess the biggest question for the offseason and for getting ready for this season is, with all the expectations that come with the success from last year, how do you guys handle that, and how do you guys not turn it into pressure from the outside?
That's a very good question. And honestly, I won't have the answer until, we get rolling into the season, because for those that don't know, we went 24-0. We went undefeated during the regular season. We didn't really have that adversity. We were in some games late in the season where we were down and came back and won. But, it's really hard to say or answer that question. We've had this conversation. We just had it last night as a coaching staff that, our schedule is unmatched in the state. I mean, we open up with Salem, the one loss that we had last year in the regional. So right out the gate, we're going at it. We get into league play, and then, we got invited to a tournament up in Sandusky. They took top 8 programs and kind of matched us up into a tournament style. I mean, you've got Akron Hoban, who won the state title. You've got Maslin Jackson, Walsh Jesuit, ourselves, Anthony Wayne, and then the 2 host schools and St. Ed's. So an 8-team tournament that is going to really, challenge us right out the gate. So, it's really hard. We've had this question. We're going to have to see. There's going to be adversity this year. We're going to take our lumps probably early in the year, just trying to get our feet wet. There are a couple spots we got to fill. When you said there aren't question marks, there's a couple out there. And there's some young guys that are going to have to step up, just like any program every year. And, we're going to have to, watch, when that loss does come, have the talk with those guys and say, hey, that's just one game. We've got the rest of the season, and our end goal is to be competing for a state championship at the end of the year.
Coach, with the level of pitching talent that you have right now, I think a lot of coaches kind of look at the Canfield program and envy it. Do you experience a peace of mind going game to game, knowing the level of talent you have pitching wise, and knowing that it's pretty locked down either way, with bullpen to starters?
It's unprecedented. 21 years I've been coaching in Division I. I've been at Boardman Soul in some big schools, some small schools where we had some guys that competed and played professionally. But to have possibly 3 or 4 Division I arms on a high school staff at one time is just, you don't see it. I don't know if it's ever happened. I 2 or 3 maybe, but to have 4. And then some of those other guys I mentioned, are really good arms. It's just, they got to wait their time. We're going to lose a lot of seniors, next year. Those guys and they got to get to work this year so that they're prepared, those juniors and sophomores, for next year. But yeah, it's great when you can run out a Landon Cheese and a Ryan Petro, a Jake Gerdick, a Nate Shaw. I mean, I could go on and on. It does put us at a peace of mind, but you can't be complacent, because even if they're putting up zeros, we got to score runs. So, it really, they feed off of each other, which is really nice, our offense and our pitching staff. So, and a lot of them are in the lineup offensively, so they kind of, get to contribute a little bit.
You talked about that 8-team tournament that you're going to be a part of, which I'm sure eats up a big chunk of your non-conference schedule, but this AAC is no joke. Talk about your conference and some of the teams that are going to give you a challenge and what you expect out of your schedule as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I kind of spoke on the schedule. We're also going down to Myrtle Beach, and we're playing a couple teams from New Jersey, a very highly ranked team from North Carolina who's undefeated down there. They've already started their season when we take a trip down to Myrtle Beach. But within our own conference, I mean, there's no slouches. We open up, with Salem, and then we get in a conference play Monday, Tuesday with Fitch. And I know, we had a battle with Joe Roth last year. It was a pitching duel between him and Ryan Petro, and they're probably going to go at it again. They got Coral out there, who's he was shut down a little bit at the beginning of the season, and he had a little injury, and he's back. So they got a couple of arms, and I know they can swing it, and they're going to compete with us. They competed with us last year. And then, we go to that tournament, and we come back from that tournament Monday, Tuesday, we got Boardman. And Coach Gabriel and I, we coached together. We played together in high school. I know everything that Boardman has, and they got a Gavin Hyde. They got arms. They got Guy Young. They've got, Jason Treveri in the outfield. They got a pretty potent lineup. So, we're going to have our hands full before that tournament and after that tournament. And then Howland, they got Braden Gephardt, who, since he was a freshman, now he's a senior. I've loved him. He gave us fits when he was a freshman. And now as a senior, he's really come into his own, and he's one of the top left-handers in the state. So we're going to have to face him. And then Warren Harding is always Warren Harding. They're going to fight tooth and nail in every game that we have. So, like I said, our schedule's tough, but then you throw our conference in there, and you got 2 games with those teams that we just said, and we got our hands full.
One player I want to talk about in particular, AJ Havrilla, that you mentioned too. Just talk to me a little bit about the confidence you had in starting him at that 3 spot for a majority of the season last year as a sophomore, and what kind of maturity and leadership capabilities do you see with him on the field to have that trust in him being so young?
Well, that comes from a couple. There's a couple reasons for that. Number one of my assistant coaches is Rick Havrilla, his dad. And I've seen AJ since he's 11 years old. I've seen, what he did in Little League and then in the, 14U and then up into 16U. He was playing 16U as a 13-year-old and playing for Astro Falcons, which is, credit to him right off the gate. His brother, Ricky Havrilla, who's at Tiffin right now. I knew what they bring to the table, and I know that the stage wasn't going to be too big for him. And he was comfortable with that, and he ran with it, and he was not an easy out. The outs that he did make were hard hit balls, just right at guys. He competes. He just, he's not going to give in. And he's been that way since, I first saw him play. So I knew the stage wasn't going to be too big for him. And, I just had confidence in him. He has confidence in himself. He's probably the most confident hitter that I've ever seen. And we've had some good ones like a Dominic Palali and so forth. But, AJ just has that. You're not going to beat him. He's going to battle with you. And he did a great job last year. And I look forward to him this year.
Fans of Canfield sports on Ysn, especially football, probably recognize your voice from breaking down the football games with Richie. You pour into this athletics program, whether it be your sport or the other sports that happen on fall and winter. Talk about, from your point of view, what makes Canfield so special and what makes you so proud to coach in this system.
It's a blessing that, when DJ asked me, is it something I would want to do? And I was like, I do have a background in broadcasting. As my first degree that I got from Kent State, and I just never used it because I went into teaching and education and coaching. But then I gave up football, coaching football, and just concentrated on baseball. And that gave my Friday nights, they were wide open. And, what better place to be than in Canfield to watch a football game? And, the fans are fantastic. The parents are fantastic. The people I get to work with are fantastic. All the coaches, we all get along, whether it's basketball, baseball, football, golf. They all support each other. And it's just a great place to be. And, you got athletes that are committed, whether it's football. I got to, see those guys in year out. And, Brock Lowry, we miss him on the baseball field this year, but I totally understand, his decision not to play because of, he's going to end up going to play Division I football. Wherever he decides, they're going to get a good one. So just, forming those relationships have been awesome. And, I thank DJ every day for, giving me the opportunity to work with Richie, who's the best in the business. And we have a lot of fun. And that's what it's all about. And it's, giving back to Canfield, the best I can. So, it's worked out really well.
Coach, my final question I gotta ask: the dyeing of the hair to blonde for the team last year too. Talk about this moment and talk about how you felt about it. And did you think it? Do you think personally, from an outsider perspective, that it helped connect the team on a more personal level?
Well, that's a tradition at Canfield. This goes back to I've been there. This is 8 years, and it started before I got here, and it's. I thought it was ridiculous, when I first got here, like, you look ridiculous. But it seems to work, and if it ain't broke, why fix it? So, they've dyed their hair. We got a bunch already. And, I don't know if the parents are always that happy, especially when, we're going to meet the team tonight and you're going to have a bunch of blonde haired guys. Some of it just doesn't look right on them, but you know what? They wear it with pride. And, it's something I don't have to worry about. So, when they ask me, Coach, you going to do it? Yeah, I did it. You can't see it's blonde up there. But, it is a team, it brings them together. They're a very tight group, and, they live and die with each other on the field, off the field. They all hang out together. So, hey, anything that works, I'm all for it, even if it might look ridiculous.
Just be lucky that they don't ask you to have that golden blonde Hulk Hogan goatee.
Yeah, and I did just shave it a little bit. I had a little beard, and I'm like, this way I don't have to worry about it at all. I'm not worried about any.
keep it tight shaved, Coach, and you won't have to worry about it.
Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us and give us a preview of the Canfield baseball season. We know it's going to be an exciting one. We know you opened the season with Salem, I believe the 26th. Is that?
Yeah, opening day. That's going to be. We had conversations about making it a night game, but then I told telling DJ, number one, this was months ago. I said, you know what it's like at 7, 8 o'clock at night in March in Ohio. And I said, I don't think it would be great. I said, and we'll play it by ear, depending on what the weather looks like. But, as of now, it's going to be a 1 o'clock game. But,
well, it kind of works out because now people can go watch that and then head over to our All-Star game.
And that was the second thing. When he announced the All-Star game, I said, you wanted a night game. I go, you just picked the wrong day. So he goes, well, it's going to work out playing at 1 o'clock. So I got in his ear as soon as he released that. So, yeah, it should all work out for everyone.
We look forward to that matchup, and I think if you're a baseball fan or if you're just a casual fan, they need to tune into that one either way. It should be a good one on the 26th, Coach.
Absolutely.
We look forward to talking to you again real soon, as I'm sure we'll highlight Canfield baseball again multiple times this season.
All right. Thanks, Anthony. Thank you, Ty. You guys have a good one.
You as well, Coach. Thank you.
Coach Gary Niddle, the head coach of the Canfield baseball team and one of the really, really good friends of YSN. We couldn't thank him enough for the work that he does during the football season. And now he's doing the real work, which is coaching this baseball team up and trying to make a run for the state championship this year.
Yeah, and I mean, just looking here at just Canfield's stats last year, just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it's an all-star team that's playing. I mean, the level of talent that they have it is absolutely incredible. And just the pitching talent is where it really is going to pay off for Canfield. They stay healthy. They're projected to make another deep run. I got to figure.
Just think about how hard it was for us at YSN last year. They have to pick 2. Only 2 could be in the All-Star game. So we were like, which 2 do we pick? I think we actually ended up bending the rules for 3. Because for baseball, softball, it's 2 per school get invited. But yeah, it was so hard to even try to pick 1 or 2 kids from that Canfield baseball team. We had heated discussions about it in the office during the selection for the All-Star game.
Should have called up Gary and be like, who? Like,
you don't want to put a coach in that situation.
Yeah, that's true, though.
Which one of your kids is the best?
I mean, that's a great problem to have, though, right?
It is. I mean, you talk about his pitching staff. He's got 4 guys that are going to be pitching in Division I.
I mean, and Landon Vital Cheese, I got a chance to watch him pitch. Just throws fire, just straight fire out of the left-hander spot. I mean,
what makes him different from the rest? Well, not the rest of the staff, but what separates him into Division I and why he's going to Ohio State. He has a 95, 96 fastball, but then he has some good secondary stuff too that has great command And he's not just someone that you can catch up the fastball to.
Oh,
Because
and by the way,
eventually, when you get to that level,
being left-handed in a pitcher is highly valuable for a lot of teams.
Eventually, when you get to that level up in Ohio State and you're pitching against the Big Ten, people are going to catch up to 95 eventually. But if you have secondary stuff, then it's hard to catch up to 95.
No doubt. And I mean, he has plenty of it. I mean, a wicked breaking ball and a way to change speeds so effectively. That's where he's able to get a lot of strikeouts as he did last year.
He's what we call nasty in the game. He's nasty. He's got some stuff. He's got some movement. Whatever adjective you want to put in his pitching.
With the one game last year, didn't he have who was it that had a lot of strikeouts?
The number was high. All right, it was very high.
I can't remember the number, but I remember looking at it and just going, "Whoa." He was and that's what you're going to see a lot of and with baseball especially, if you're getting guys out at the plate, you are just stopping offenses dead in their tracks. You're not allowing any traction on the bases. You are just stopping it at the plate.
What's the old adage? Don't strike out, because if you put the ball in play, the least you do is put pressure on the defense, even if it's, especially at this level, a routine ground out is not always routine with 14 to 18-year-old kids.
And
they
also
make a mistake pretty easily.
14 to 18 degree weather, or it could be 50, rainy. I mean, so many weather factors. So put the ball in play, absolutely. And that's why coaches love having guys on top of having the amazing pitching staff, guys like Josh Giuliano at the top of the lineup.
I remember the only hitter that is comparable to him as far as his average, I think, that I've seen personally. Maybe what year did he graduate from South Range? I want to say 15, maybe 14. Billy Goodall, he went to play for Mount Union and started there for a while. He had an average that was 650, and it was almost all singles because all he did was just kind of rip it into the outfield. Not a lot of power, but just gets on base and fast enough to cause havoc when he gets on base. Just one of those guys is great to have, especially at the top of your lineup, because you feel you're an opposing pitcher and you get on the mound, and the first guy you have to deal with is top 5 in the nation in batting average. You can't walk him because then you're leaning off the game with a runner on base. You got to pitch to him.
And that's
good luck with that.
They have so many guys that protect each other too in that lineup, and so many guys that are capable of driving in runs that it is incredible the amount of competition that you have to go through.
All right, we have one more baseball coach to talk to today. It'll be Brian Warner, the head coach of the Louisville baseball team. As we're talking Louisville a lot, they're still playing in basketball. We're going to talk about their baseball team too. Double dipping as the seasons are overlapping now because Louisville's basketball team is having so much success. We'll talk to Coach Warner about how he navigates that, what he expects from his season, what he expects from his players, and all of that fun stuff. We're going to take our last break of the day. We'll be back and get ready for that interview next on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Working with your family can be stressful at times, but because they're family, you know that you're going to get a loving, honest answer, even when things don't make sense, to any problem. Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance.
Storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air,
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online,
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
on social media, and on our app.
Notice we'll have scattered showers on Thursday.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you. I'm Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell as we venture into the final moments of this show. But before we get out of here, we got one more baseball coach to interview and preview their season. It is going to be Brian Warner of the Louisville baseball team. He'll be joining us in about, 10 minutes maybe? Let's look at not even 5 minutes, 1:45. He's scheduled to come on and talk with us.
Yeah, so we get to look into Louisville's baseball program before we go into basketball tonight and their matchup versus Glenville in that regional semifinal matchup. So we love covering our Louisville Leopards too, and we get to extend it into the baseball season.
And we talked about this on Monday that senior Tyler Bolden, his dad coaches the women's basketball team at Ohio University. Unfortunately, Ohio University did lose their MAC. I almost said MAC, like no one calls it the MAC. The MAC tournament game last night against Toledo. So Coach Bob Bolden should be there in attendance tonight. Hopefully, he gets to watch his son win a game and get into the regional finals.
Yeah, and that would be something too. And we're hoping for an all YSN regional final.
That would be this so great. So great. Then we have three teams in the regional finals. What?
Guaranteed a state representative.
And that would be I gotta count them. We had football, basketball, baseball last year, and then we had football this year. So it would be fifth, right? Fifth year in a row.
Yeah, football and soccer.
Yeah, fifth sports season in a row we've had someone in state, I think, because it didn't go. So
2019 baseball.
Baseball 2 years ago, we didn't get anyone, did we?
No, because 2020 baseball didn't happen.
No, you're right, because 2020 was. You're right.
We had West Branch.
We would have, because Champion was going to go. Let's be real. Champion softball was going to go.
We had someone in the state tourneys, didn't we?
In that basketball season, yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess you could say 6 and not count the 2020 spring season because it didn't happen.
So, I mean,
if you really want to bend stuff, let's be real. Like, if we had a softball season in 2020, Champion would have been there. They were returning seniors that went to 3 in a row. I mean, they had 2 Division I pitchers on that staff, which is equivalent to having 4 on baseball.
Yeah, that's so unfortunate looking back. That was highway robbery.
It would have. I mean, look at that team. The year before in 19, they did not allow a single run through the tournament, districts, regionals, and state, and route to their third consecutive state championship. So
they were looking for 4, and Waterloo, another team. Unfortunate for a lot of teams too that got deprived of seasons and had seasons cut short. But hey, we're looking up now, and we're excited to start previewing seasons, and we're excited to have the culmination of basketball season continue tonight.
Speaking of previewing seasons, we're going to talk to head coach of the Louisville Leopards baseball team, Brian Warner. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me, guys.
Coach, like we do with all of our head coaches for YSN, we always like to start off with a Meet the Team segment. So go on and shout out those guys that we expect to turn some heads for Leopard Nation and maybe some new names that are going to be exciting to watch this year.
Yeah, so coming back, we have some very exciting players. I'll start off with JT Popik. He stepped in as a junior, played shortstop for us, was our leadoff hitter, had an outstanding season. He hit .347, stole 17 bases. He's a 5-tool guy. Very excited for him. He signed he committed to Akron to play his college level baseball. Also very excited to bring back on the pitching mound. We have Connor Morley and Anthony Warner. So we won 15 games last year. Connor won 7 of them on the mound as a sophomore, and Anthony was 5-0 as a junior. So we got 12 wins coming back on the mound. Both had great ERAs. They were very effective because they pound the zone and they're very efficient. Don't give up too many free bases, and they both worked really hard this offseason and have improved on that. So I'm looking forward to see those guys and what happens this year. Connor Morley also swings the bat extremely well as a sophomore last year. He had .317, played second base when he wasn't pitching. Good middle of the order guy, nice, beautiful left-handed swing. A couple other guys. We got Charlie Roberts as a sophomore last year. He played center field and started every game. Stole 22 bases, hitting towards the top of the order. He's gotten bigger and stronger and faster, and he's a dynamic guy also in our lineup. Also returning starters, we have Connor Adelman in left field. He's a senior now, and Zach Seaman in right field. And with those 3 guys, they all cover a lot of ground. They call themselves the no-fly zone, and that's where baseballs go to die. So I'm excited to have all of those guys back in that experience. Behind the plate, I got Walker Candle. He started several games last year as a junior, and he's stepping in. And then we also have another very exciting prospect. He's now a junior, in Carson Siegfried, who he's extremely impressive. Another 5-tool guy at the catcher's position, and he swings a very dangerous stick. He should do some damage for us as well. A couple of younger guys I got coming in that are promising to. I have 3 sophomores that are looking really, really good this spring, and that's Cole Miller. He's a right-handed pitcher, first baseman. Zach Root, right-handed pitcher, third baseman, and Andrew Corona, who's a shortstop. And I forgot to mention Caleb Miller as well. He's a returning third baseman for us who hit over 300 last year. So we got a lot of exciting guys coming back, some new guys coming in. Should be a lot of fun.
Coach, when you look at all the experience that is coming back off of a successful 15-win season, obviously the expectations have to be pretty high for this team. What are some goals that you're kind of setting as a program, and what are some expectations that you have and your coaching staff has of these guys this year?
So we obviously, we won 15 games last year, but we didn't make a very good tournament run. Lost in the sectional finals to outstanding Salem team. And a lot of my guys are hungry to get farther. So they've worked extremely hard this offseason. And so one of the goals is to make a deep tournament run. They want to get to districts. They want to get to regionals and see what happens from there. Team-wise, we talk about a lot of the goals and just make sure we win every pitch, play the right way. We have some charts where we're keeping track of freebies and things like that. So they have some smaller parts of the game, some goals for each game and for the season. But I'm still missing 7 guys on the basketball team. They got that big regional game tonight. So we don't even have our full squad yet. So we haven't really set the team goals yet until I get all these guys back.
One successful sport leading into another one is what you hope for in these situations, though, Coach. And looking at this, too, kind of carve through this schedule you're going to have for us, because, correct me if I'm wrong, independently scheduled.
Yeah, we're independent. So I totally miss being in a conference. The conference play is exciting. It's a lot of fun for the guys, for the coaches as well, striving to meet those goals. But independent scheduling isn't too bad for us. I think having the turf baseball field helps because we can get a lot of games. A lot of teams want to come here and play on that. We're going down. So we open up with Dover on the 26th. That's our opener every year, always a great game. And then over our spring break, we're going down to the Gatlinburg area of Tennessee, and we're playing 4 games against some very high quality teams, and that's going to be a great experience. The guys are really looking forward to it. Should be a lot of fun, just team bonding, but again, too, going down and playing some outstanding competition. And then we come back and we got a couple of familiar foes on there. We have some 2-game sets with Canton South. We play Massillon every year in a back-to-back. We play Minerva this year on a back-to-back, but then we also pretty much play the entire Federal League schedule, whether it's regular season or in scrimmages. So those are always great challenges for us. St. Vincent, St. Mary's always on our schedule. Off the top of my head here, I can't think of all of them, but we have a great schedule, a very balanced schedule. We'll be definitely tournament challenge and tournament ready to go.
When you talk about that trip to Tennessee, though, I mean, not only is it a great competition for you guys, but I imagine for team chemistry and building a close-knit group of guys, there's no better way to build team chemistry than being forced to live with someone for about a week. So talk about what that trip does for you guys and how excited you are to do it again.
Definitely. So back in 2018, I took the guys, we went down to Myrtle Beach, and the bonding experience was amazing. And, when we got back home, that bond carried us through to a very successful season in the districts. But yeah, like you said, a huge part of being a successful team and have a successful season is having great relationships. So if we're down there for a week together, like you said, we're actually staying in one big cabin in the mountains, which is going to be awesome. The guys are going to get to know each other. Obviously, a lot of the guys are pretty good friends now, but they might get to know some players maybe that they haven't hung out a lot with outside of baseball. So we're really looking forward to that whole experience. I can't wait. It's 3 weeks from now. We'll be down there, and guys are ready to go. We're ready to go down, compete, and enjoy the trip as well.
Talking about just the bonding experience of these guys and just what Louisville baseball has meant to you, kind of talk to me about what you hope it means, though, to these players and what you kind of hope it means to them when you ask them, what does it mean to be a Leopard? In your words, what do you hope their response would be?
Yeah. So one of the things I talk about a lot with these guys is just having Leopard class, and we are student athletes. We're the student for the athlete, but we've got to represent ourselves extremely well in all areas, whether it's in the classroom, in the school, obviously on the baseball field, in the community. I want to provide an experience for these guys, though, that when it ends on that last game, whenever that is, that these guys are really heartbroken about it, because that's how much they love one another, and that they don't want that to end. So we talk about that a lot. And, this is going into my 8th season, and I feel like we've had that sort of bond on every single team where, when it ends, it's heartbreaking. So, guys come back. I have guys playing in college, and it's really cool that they come back to the program, watch games. I see them down the third base line once in a while, or sometimes they come and guys are still playing will come and work out with us, which is also really cool. So yeah, I just want these guys to be proud to be a part of the program, and hopefully they learn more than just baseball, just learn how to be good young gentlemen and become great fathers and leaders down the road for them.
All right, Coach, before we let you go, talk about your assistants and the people that kind of help you make this program what it is. We know that the head coaches get all the attention and get all the limelight, the interviews, but you wouldn't be anywhere without the assistants you have. So talk about the people that you work with and the people that help you build this Louisville program.
Yeah, you're 100% right about that. It's a lot to be the head coach of a program with 40-some players every year. So you've got to have outstanding guys around you, and I'm super fortunate for that. Mark Adams is my assistant head coach. He was actually the head baseball coach here from 2000 to 2008 and had an extremely great run when he was the head coach. When I got here in 2015, his son, Tyler Adams, which you might know that name, was playing for me, and I was able to get Coach out of retirement and get back in uniform. And it's been the best move I think I've made in my entire coaching career, because I was a very young coach, an inexperienced head coach at the time, who I had my own ideas, but with him and his experience that he brought, he's helped mentor me along, and he's just a wonderful guy to have there. Pitching coach, I was able to hire, his name's Tyler Whitlatch. He's a Sebring grad and had an outstanding pitching career at Malone University. Big left-handed pitcher. So he's new to the program this year, and it's been wonderful having him. He's extremely knowledgeable. He knows everything he's talking about, and he's really gained a lot of respect from those guys in a hurry because of the way he carries himself, and his communication skills are just amazing as well. Troy Leiser has been an assistant coach for me for several years. He works with my catchers, does a great job there. He's a worker, puts his head down, comes to work every day. Guy I can count on for anything I need. Running my JVs, I got Matt Corona, who played college baseball, so brings a traditional amount of experience as well to the baseball knowledge as well to the program. So,
Coach, we thank you so much for taking the time to join us today, helping us preview this Louisville baseball season. We wish you the best of luck this year. We know that we'll talk to you again real soon.
All right, guys, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Brian Warner, the head coach of the Louisville Leopards baseball team, joining us to kind of round out this episode of Running Point. That'll kind of do it for us. Casual Sports Podcast coming up next from 2 to 3, Power Hour from 3 to 4, and then we have not one but 2 tournament games on the network tonight. $9.99 gets you access to both. One payment of $9.99 gets you access to both. Ty, I believe now you're running down to the Civic Center to make the call for Cheney versus St. Vincent St. Mary. I think at 6, and then Louisville versus Cleveland Glenville at 8.
I haven't got confirmation on the Louisville, but I know I'm there definitely for Cheney tonight. But
okay, so you might be trading off some people.
I might be trading off, but I might stick around anyway to watch. We'll see, depending on how everything goes tonight. But I'm down for either or, and it should be a fun night tonight.
Let me look at our schedule and see what it says. Forgot what day it was. Jeez. All right, Thursday. All right, so it's either going to be Bob Burke or you, one of the two. It'll happen. It'll be on.
We'll have it. We'll have it. Hopefully, we're talking about an all YSN regional final after this.
We're going to take a 22-hour break. We'll be back tomorrow with more baseball previews and whatnot for you. We'll also be talking to Coach Kerry Palermo of Cardinal Mooney Basketball. Got the win last night. Hopefully, we'll be talking to Coach Siegfried as well, and maybe Coach Magahe as well.
Yep, we'll see it. And hopefully we have a lot of great news to talk about on Friday's Running Point.
Come on, it's a Friday. Let's get some good news. We're sick of bad news. Let's go.
See ya.